Hello everyone, this is Hazel. This is my Folio and reflective video covering my prototype submission as well as the progress made during weeks 5 and 6. Referring back to my timeline, we're now in week 6, which marks the halfway point in the semester. The progress made within the past couple of weeks have been significant, and I've focused on the technical aspect of the AR function and making sure that it works as intended. As I'll explain shortly, I ran through various issues within and outside the project scope, which included a bloated laptop battery that required urgent replacing. Although this delayed my production time frame to an extra week at most, I was able to troubleshoot the issues to have a working AR prototype, one that functions with little delay, stutter, or distortion. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been able to make a good amount of progress making up for the lost time due to technical issues. These key milestones include the completion of the refined craft model boxes that replaced the recycled ones, a redesigned layout of the 3D space with stable lighting for AR trackability, various AR tests conducted on the 3D space, an alternative on what to use as the image tracker in AR, a refined character design, a completed prototype of 2 AR functioning sections of the 3D space with placeholder sound, and finally getting to a tentative working title for my project, which is called Nox Path. It's a spiritual follow-up to my previous AR project in Studio One called Nox Abode. In week 4, I encountered my first wave of issues that related to the image trackability. I came across issues within the initial mockup and AR tests that involved using a square shape as the image tracker. Because of this, I had to reassess my approach to using anamorphic illusion images as the tracker for AR. Taking inspiration from the initial anamorphic illusion exercises I did, I decided to use doors as the anamorphic illusion image tracker. As a functioning component and part of a building or structure, this has a purpose and adds a layer of illusion in terms of whether doors could also mean something else. This would also open to more opportunities of using other aspects of the building, such as windows or facade details, as the image tracker. To create the anamorphic illusion of the doors, I cut out printed versions of the doors I drew on Procreate, and tested to see how they'd look and fit in the 3D space. Afterwards, I redesigned the layout of the craft model box positions in a way that I could create 3 sections that were separate from each other. I also focused on creating a more stable light source and invested in an inexpensive lamp to assist with this aspect. After positioning the boxes and the doors, I took a photo of each door from the intended vantage point, and using this created my animatic based on this perspective. This was the second wave of issues that I had encountered that related to the focal point for where the animation was projecting. At first, the animatic would not project onto the 3D space as per the intended size of the door in the photo that I had taken. After trying again, the next issue I had was the animated file would play at 5 times its speed, despite me exporting with the same frames per second as the previous animatics. After yet another try, the speed issue disappeared. Going back to the issue that I had had with the sizing, I decided to not refer to the size of the door in the photo. Instead, I used a larger image of the door and scaled the animatic accordingly. This seemed to have fixed the sizing issue. Using a larger image helped iJack Creator detect and recognize the unique features, and the animatic would have scaled itself accordingly to the size of the actual image tracker in real life. The other issue relating to the speed of the animated file seemed to have been a once-off issue and application-related. Although the limitations of the application has prevented me from having more control, the simplicity of the tool itself has allowed me to be able to conduct several tests to get to a working and complete prototype. After another test conducted with 2 of the animatics, I found that I was able to scan both AR codes prior, so that I could view the 2D animations one right after the other and not have to worry about scanning before each section. Here is the working prototype for Door 1 and 2's anamorphic illusion animation segments. The timeline for the next 6 weeks will be purely focused in the 2D animation and AR tests for 2 out of the 3 sections. Due to the scale and scope of 12 weeks, I decided to focus on working on 2 of the sections only. I think this will still achieve the outcome of my project and prove the key points of my inquiry. Week 7 will be a general review of the animatics created and the movement paths of my characters in these 2 separate sections. And I also want to be focusing on creating a more narrative prose to the experience. Weeks 8 and 9 will be focused on the animation and AR tests for door number 1. Weeks 10 and 11 will be an identical exercise for door number 2. Week 12 will be spent on refining and making any necessary adjustments and tweaks to the final prototype. Folio 2's outcome will comprise of a completed AR experience that will showcase how this mixed reality platform can add visual depth and strength to a scene and enrich the storytelling experience in 2D animation. Having the AR experience projected in a 3D space will allow an added layer of engagement and curiosity to an otherwise passive interactive experience. Thanks for listening.